So, the purpose of today's press conference is really to talk about the arrest of four incredibly dangerous individuals. After thorough investigation and relentless follow-up by the Spokane Police Department Major Crimes detectives, we've arrested four persons that we believe are connected to two bank robberies in the Garland district. One of those robberies occurred on December 20th at U.S. Bank, and the other occurred on January 3rd at Washington Trust Bank. The following suspects are in custody. All of them are facing charges of first-degree robbery. 23-year-old Adrian Morris, his cousin, 24-year-old Darren Morris Jr., 28-year-old Tyree Wortham, and 28-year-old John Jones. Mr. Jones has 4 felony convictions: riot with a deadly weapon, second-degree robbery, third-degree assault, and harassment. All 4 suspects are known to law enforcement in various other states as far away as the East Coast. Since the robberies occurred, our detectives worked relentlessly developing information and talking about who were persons of interest and who may be the perpetrators of these acts. I want to thank the public very specifically, because without your cooperation and assistance, we would not have been able to solve these robberies. I think the cooperation from the community shows that the relationship between our department and members of the community is getting better and better. We have to have a seamless relationship between the police department and the community, and we see that when that relationship is seamless, when it is a trusting relationship, we get positive results. We're able to take 4 dangerous individuals off the street. So over the weekend, our detectives identified the getaway vehicle. We had known what it was. They identified a location where that vehicle was. They proceeded to that location. And as a result of that, they arrested Adrian Morse and his cousin, Darren, at a residence in the 800 block of West Cora. Subsequently, we executed a search warrant at that address, and we recovered a .22 caliber handgun. We believe that that handgun was used during the robberies, if not one of the robberies. If you see the picture to my left, if you were able to blow that picture up, you would actually see the individual in possession of the .22 caliber handgun. Additional follow-up work by our detectives in the course of the day and immediately following their arrests helped us locate Tyree Wortham. He was located at a residence in the 4000 block of the North Post, and we identified and located John Jones at the Spokane Arena where he was attending a hockey game. In each of these bank robberies, the perpetrators demonstrated extremely aggressive behavior. As I mentioned earlier, they displayed firearms. These were dangerous individuals that threatened the safety of our community. I want to be very clear, and I've said this before and I'll say it continuously. The Spokane Police Department will not tolerate criminal behavior or any other behavior that threatens the safety of our community, our businesses, and our visitors. We will be, as we were in this case, as we were in the Carlisle case, and in other cases that have come into the police department, relentless in the identification and the arrest of individuals and bringing them very quickly to justice. I also want to note that it was just yesterday that one of our officers, again, put himself between somebody who sought to do harm to our community, between that individual and our community. Lacey Anthony, a 27-year-old female, was pulled over. One of our officers went to effect an arrest. She was wanted for 2 warrants, and instead of complying with the officer, she hit the officer with her vehicle. She then fled the scene. She didn't care whether the officer was hurt or not. She drove away. After a short pursuit, we were able to apprehend Ms. Anthony and again, bring her to justice. I think you've heard a pretty consistent story of late. Relentless follow-up by our detectives. Extremely effective and thorough investigations. Quick resolution of major cases and sometimes very complex cases. And we see over and over and over again Spokane police officers putting themselves between bad guys, people that want to hurt us, and good people, the vast majority of our community. And we're going to continue to do that. And I want to thank the members of our major crimes unit. I want to thank the men and women of the Spokane Police Department for yet again tremendous professionalism, tremendous police work, and bring people to justice very quickly. Questions?
Chief, I don't want you to turn around and reference those photographs, because I won't be able to follow you with my poor camera work. But
Okay.
the difference between the picture that was taken by the bank photo and the picture that was taken by the apartment complex surveillance cameras is that when you do bank robberies, you put your mask on, and it's interesting but not that helpful. That guy flagged down your officers and said, I've got this person on my apartment complex, and it's before he's hooded up.
We see that over and over again, Jeff. I was right in the vicinity with a couple other officers during one of these bank robberies, and we were getting really instantaneous leads from the community, identifying the vehicle, identifying subjects. They were able to elude us at that time, but we see this. We saw it in the Carlisle case where members of the community stepped up and said, hey, we have information, we have video that may help you. That's what solves cases. Extremely good police work and cooperation and collaboration from the community.
Do you know who's who in the photos? Is it the same person or?
Mr. Wortham.
Mr. Wortham is in both?
Yes.
He's in both.
And in court documents, it talked about how one suspect was kind of the leader of the group. Do we know which individual
I'll let
that was?
Mr. Jones would be the leader of the group.
And the prior convictions, the 4 felony convictions, the criminal record is
Right,
kind
go
of
to
an
Mr.
indication of the leadership in the incidents.
Do the other ones have criminal records as well? Or?
They're known to law enforcement, no felony convictions.
But I think it's important to note that they're known to law enforcement, not just in Spokane, but really across the country. So these aren't your run-of-the-mill kind of local criminals. These are people that have criminal involvement, and it's pretty extensive criminal involvement, and that's still under investigation at this point.
And so, I know you kind of mentioned it, but was it tips from public that helped you track these guys down, or just?
I would say it's a combination of both, right? So you have, the bank photo. You have, the other photo from a private surveillance camera. People coming forward and bringing that information to the detectives. The detectives doing incredible police work, right? Looking at the evidence, looking at the photos, talking to sources of information. But I think what is interesting in both this case and other cases, it's not just the typical cooperating witnesses, right? It's members of the community, just regular run-of-the-mill people who are stepping forward time and time again to say, we want to help you, we want to provide information to you, we want to provide video from our surveillance cameras, those type of things.
Do you happen to know if they're, nationwide, they've been committing crimes, do you know why they're in Spokane? Do they have family here? Is this?
They have affiliations here, we'll leave it at that.
Was any of the money recovered? I don't know if you can comment on that at all.
I don't know, I don't
Okay.
believe,
Can't comment on
yeah.
that.
So,
Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, for, bank robberies, are there different tactics that you guys use, right after it happens, that you can talk about it all for when something like this happens in a neighborhood?
Well, I think, yeah, certainly we go to the bank, we interview all of the people that are in the bank, whether they're customers or bank personnel. We look at the surveillance video as quickly as possible. We get the descriptions out to patrol resources as quickly as possible. There is bait money in banks, that's no secret. There are die packs in banks. The banks record those serial numbers, so clearly we're looking for that currency out in circulation. So those are some of the things that we do here and is done across the country.
Chief, y'all knew that you were looking for a silver
Durango.
Durango. It was the CI that put the icing on the cake, and I'm not trying to burn off that person in any way, but apparently the word on the street is that if you have information, it can be traded, and you will keep your bargain. I mean, that's part of your credibility with the public too.
Yeah, I think that, that's something that people have to realize, right? That if we make a promise to any member of the community, be they a cooperating witness or a regular citizen, and in some cases it's a request for confidentiality, that we hold true to the bargain that we make, the deal we make, however you want to phrase it.
That was a horrible question, Chief. Can you tell me about how the stepping forward of a confidential informant gave you even more information that very shortly thereafter, I think 2 days later, led to an arrest?
I'm gonna leave that. I think that's part of an investigative technique. I'm gonna leave that at that.
And
Anything
in the
else?
affidavit paperwork, there's information that you can glean. Any other question?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, thanks.